Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. Welcome to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. It's another mock draft Monday here on the show, and every Monday we've had draft-related content since the Super Bowl. Great guest. Last week we had Charles Davis. This week we dive into the beat, and this is a very special guest. We're going to be talking Jets. We're going to be talking draft. We're going to learn a little bit more about this guy. That's what it's up for New York Jet fans to learn a little bit more about the beat. So let's bring in a brand new member of this beat. That is DJ Bien-Aime, and let's bring him on the show. DJ, welcome from the New York Daily News, my friend.
How y'all doing? How you doing today, Paul?
I'm doing awesome, man, and I read a lot about you ahead. We connected on Twitter, and I'm like, let me dive in on this guy and learn a bunch about you from athlete. I even saw a little bit of a Madden junkie in there, so we're gonna have to squeeze some of that in on the show. But
Yeah,
first
most
off,
definitely.
so I gotta ask, first off, how'd you end up on the beat? Is this something that you've been kind of striving for in your career for a while? Give us a little taste.
So yeah, I've been striving for this for a while. When I graduated from Louisville in 2018, I wanted to get into, I want to get into media, but that's a broad term. It's like saying you want to play sports. Like, what sport do you want to play? So after going to some like NABJ conventions and meeting with some people, I realized I want to be a writer. So I started covering Louisville athletics for 2018, 2019 football and basketball. And then as time progressed, I realized I hit my ceiling. So I went to Columbia to get my master's in journalism. And then after that, I wanted to get onto, eventually get into NFL B or NBA B or maybe even college B. But I started off in high school, late 2020. Technically, my first official day. I did some freelance stuff for the last paper I was at, covering high school, a little bit of D2 basketball. My first official day was like January 11th, so I thought I was going to be there maybe a year, 2 years. I thought, okay, maybe when I'm like, 2023, 2024, I may be able to get to college or maybe NFL beat. But, when people ask, I'm just like, I'm just blessed to be honest, because I made a huge jump. So,
Sure.
um, yeah, so that's how I ended up at this spot. I had somebody at the New York Daily News that was willing to stand on the table for me, Bradford Davis. He stood on the table for me, helped get my resume in front of the editors there, and you know, it moved pretty fast, and here I am now.
Wow. So you pulled a LeBron James. You don't need college. Just jump in, be the number one pick. So that's phenomenal, man. So I got to ask you, and this one's a weird question, and I'm
Hmm.
sure you may have gotten this before. Your predecessor that was there, and it's almost like
Yeah,
Voldemort among the Jets fans. It's like he who shall not be named. But I got to
yeah,
ask you, was there any hesitation in taking the position? Again, you got to secure your bag, and I respect that. But
right,
was
right,
there
right.
ever any hesitation with the thing that was left there before you arrived?
Zero hesitation. Just in a sense for me, I felt like that was almost helping me out because since like the bar is quote unquote so low, like I don't really have to. I can just be a regular human being, and boom, I would already kind of be viewed as a better, predecessor to him, or better someone that's doing
Sure.
better than him. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, I wasn't really too worried about that. I did talk to somebody that worked with him. And obviously, it is what it is on that aspect. But for me, I'm like, this is my slate, this is my beat. You know what I'm saying? This is my gig. So I'm gonna just do the best I can do at this spot, and whatever happened before me, doesn't really have much to do with me. It's like dating a girl that dealt with a lot of trauma and a lot of toxicity from her last relationship. Well, I'm coming in, fresh slate. Granted, I will deal with some of the residue from the last person, but at the end of the day, I can only control what I can control, and just treat that person the best way I can, and treat this beat the best way I can.
Well, that's a great analogy. And by the way, it's basically you're going to be on it. And let me just tell you, I will hook you up. You're going to be on an unlimited honeymoon spree here. It's like the Jets fans with Adam Gase. Like Adam
Yeah.
Gase was so terrible that for God's sakes, anyone would have been an upgrade. So Robert
Right.
Saleh, who is so much more, Jet fans are like, oh, thank God, phenomenal. Whatever you do is great. So I'm sure whatever you're going to do here, DJ, is going to be great. So you mentioned Louisville, and for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, checks notes quite the athlete, my friend, and athlete is a bit of a path here. And to be honest with you, DJ, that's kind of a sexy thing right now. Here locally in Syracuse, we have a guy. His name's Julian Witham, and a former Syracuse player, got a couple cups of coffee in the NFL, but a sexy thing was a former player kind of turning analyst, or in your case, following the journalism route. It's a very sexy thing right now. People love to kind of get that inside perspective of an athlete's mind and how that translates to paper. So
Right.
give people a little bit of a taste, your athletic prowess.
Yeah, so my journey is kind of funny. After high school, I didn't really have many offers. I ran track my junior year, didn't run track my senior year. I played football. We ended up going to junior college, where I went to three junior colleges, one in Arkansas in 2013, then one in North Dakota in 2014, then one in Cali in 2015.
Wow.
And then I started running track. I ran track at the school in Cali. I ran that 2015 just to get a little bit faster. The football season didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but I still had some D2 schools talking to me a little bit because they knew my first year running track, I ran like 10.8, so they knew I had some speed, so that intrigued them. But then that following year, I ran 10.4 in a 100-meter dash. So at that point, it was just Division Ones talking to me for track. Obviously, I still try to flirt around, see if I could find some schools that'd be interested in me for football, but it was more D2s that were more interested in that. Most D1s weren't. They would just because like with Division One, when it comes to track, you can run track, but you can't play football. But you can play football, but you can't run. But you can run track. It has to be football to track. It can't be track to football. So, after a while, I was just like, man, it is what it is. Like I enjoy playing football. That's that. But I got a beautiful opportunity to run track at a Division One. My goal is to always go D1, so I can still achieve my goal. So I ran the ACT for about 2 years. My last year, I ended up getting hurt, had stress fracture in both legs. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed my collegiate life, to say the least, collegiate athletic life, to say the least.
Hey man, that's a lot better than most of us can do. Hopefully, I have a
Right.
stature here locally for my football Oswego high school career, but I didn't approach anywhere near any college, man. So
Right.
obviously,
I
major props, my man,
appreciate
for
that.
that. And like I said, it's just fascinating, and I love it because, again, transitioning to what you do now as a member of the Jets beat, again, you're your own man, and I know you're going to hear a lot of that noise, all that trash from people about, again, the predecessor. I'll just continue to say he who shall not be
And
named.
I'll be named.
Yeah, that's right. But again, to me, it's your own path, and I love it. And I want Jet fans to get to know more about you. And I'm going to be honest, DJ, this has been quite a point of contention on social media. So let's get right to it. And I
Go
think
ahead.
you already know where this is going. But when I read where you grew up and where you come from, I heard a little birdie tell me you're a Miami Dolphins fan.
Yeah, so out of all those teams that I root for the Dolphins, I root for the Marlins, I root for the Heat, I root for the Hurricanes.
Okay.
The biggest team I root for, the most diehardish I am for, is the Dolphins.
Okay, so is that just, again? I guess I could just connect the tea leaves here. For me, a Jets fan, it's not because I'm from New York or in New York. It happened some other way. There's some complicated story there. But I got to ask you: is it just as simple as Florida everything, Florida everything?
Just as simple as that. Just as simple as that. Grew up watching the Dolphins. I think the first game I ever watched that I can like vividly remember
Hmm.
was one game they were playing like the Bills. I think in '05 is Nick Saban's first year. They went 9-7 that year. They started off 3-7. They ended up 9-7. My first game I can vividly remember is um, I think Dolphins like down 21-0, and then they end up winning. They end up scoring like 22 unanswered in the
Hmm.
fourth quarter to beat the Bills. And after that, I just kept riding with them. And then that '07 year where they went 1-15. I could have jumped ship. Could have went to I know a lot of guys down here that just Patriot fans, which I mean I understand, whatever, losers, but yeah, I stuck with them, and then that next year, with Chad Pennington, shout out to y'all for sending that to us. Shout out Mike Tannenbaum for sending that to us. Um, they went 11-5, went to the playoffs, but for some reason, something told me I cried when they lost to the Ravens.
Yeah, I remember
Something
that game.
told me like it's gonna be a while before they get back. Don't know why. Couldn't explain why.
Hmm.
And I was right. They
Yeah.
didn't go back to 2016, but yeah, I just always was a Dolphins fan, and that was that. And I will say that it won't really affect my work because like granted I love the Dolphins, but like I'm not for lack of a better word, like I'm not unintelligent. Like I'm not stupid about it. Like if they're not good, then they're not good. And I'm not going to allow that to affect how I cover the Jets. You know, like I'm not going to be, oh yeah, the Jets suck. This is not like, nah. I mean, you know, they made some good moves. Like some of the free agency signings. Like I really love the Carl Lawson and Corey Davis signing. Like I love that. So and especially getting Sheldon Rankins on a low risk, high reward deal. So it won't really affect me from doing my job because again, I covered Louisville for about a year, and I'm a Hurricanes fan, and I was still able to just cover the team for what it was worth.
And I've just seen it a little bit on Twitter myself, is because again I've seen you trade in blows here a little bit with some of these fans, and some of the funny things is again with some of the tweets I don't have them in front of me, but some of them like, hey, if Tua sucks, hey man, I'm gonna go out with my life, or this or that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can appreciate if the Dolphins make a good move. Hey, this if it's a dumb move, you're like, yeah, it was a dumb move. It seems like just from some of the top of the level tweets from some of the last couple of weeks, I see it. It seems like you call it how you see it. It doesn't seem like again the Dolphins thing affects you. Jets stink. Dolphins are everything. Everything they do is gospel. It seems like you could have a pretty level head about it.
Of course, yeah. When you're a Dolphins fan from from 05 to now, like majority of my life they sucked. So like what I'm gonna be like, oh my god, everything they do is great. No, I'm conditioned to think they suck. So I mean, again, since I've been watching them, only 3 winning seasons, 05 to now, only 3 winning seasons. You know what I'm saying? So like, why am I going to die on that hill of everything they do is just great? Like, and again, if Tua stinks this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm gonna go all my life. They'll get another quarterback, and that'll be that.
Yeah. And again, the Dolphins made a big move this weekend, and it was or really over the last couple of days. And let's talk about it, and we'll kind of shift to the New York Jets here. And it seems like it's changed the dynamic a little bit. There have been a lot of Zach Wilson hype heading into this thing, but I think none greater than the pro day and seeing the throw where Zach Wilson rolls out to the left, kind of flick of the wrist, throws it down out of nowhere,
that so beautiful,
and then boom. Everyone's talking about the great throw of the offseason. That's the throw, that's the wow throw. And then in the middle of the pro day, we find out, okay, 49ers jump from 12-3. We're like, oh snap. The Dolphins are dropping back. They're all on the Tua train. This is great. 49ers obviously feel good about somebody. They're at 3. And then 5 minutes later, Field 8 says, oh, wait, Dolphins jumping from 12-6. We're getting all this movement. We need to keep track of everything here. But the fascinating part for the Jets' ripple effects is Ian Rappaport tweeted out that the Eagles wanted to trade up to 3, but only if they could get Zach Wilson. And they apparently didn't think they could. So they said, see ya, eject button, we're out. We're going to 12.
Right.
So first off, that seems interesting based on the Eagles and Jets connections of Joe Douglas. And then the other, of course, is the 49ers made a massive jump from 12-3. They gave up a lot of stuff to your Miami Dolphins to try to make that kind of jump happen. But it's interesting. They didn't call the Jets a 2. They're very close. Saleh, LaFleur, and everybody. And
right.
With their connections, I don't know if I'm connecting the dots here, DJ.
No, you're connecting it great.
Like a foregone, let me ask you, does it seem like a foregone conclusion, Jets, Zach Wilson, it's happening?
I mean, from everything that I've read and everything that we just do the math. It just seems like that's what's probably going to happen. And Zach Wilson's a great prospect. You got Trevor, a great prospect. I think Fields is a great prospect. I think Lance is a great prospect. Wilson's a great prospect. I think at this point, that's what it seems like is leaning towards that. They're gonna end up taking Zach Wilson. Just everything that adds up. Well, one thing that will be very telling. So Justin Fields' pro day is on the 30th. If they send, remember, at Zach Wilson pro day, they sent the head coach, they sent Joe Douglas was there, and Michael LaFleur was there too. Let's say they only send just Joe Douglas. At that point, if you do continue to do the tea leaves, seems like it's going to be, Zach Wilson. If they just send Joe Douglas to Justin Fields' pro day. So, it seemed like it may be a foregone conclusion, but, you never know. Because I remember in 2018, it seemed like Sam Darnold was a foregone conclusion to the Jets. I mean, not the Jets, to the Browns. Yeah. So we got about a month left before the draft. So a lot of things can happen. You know what I'm saying? So right now it's like a foregone conclusion, but because remember last year it seemed like a foregone conclusion that Herbert was gonna go to the Dolphins, and then draft day seemed they ended up going with Tua. So time will tell, and we'll see.
Yeah, here on a Mock Draft Monday, we're exactly a month out from the 2021 NFL Draft. Is April 29th through May 1st. And again, we're going to continue to be doing this Mock Draft Monday content here on the show. And DJ, I don't know if I want to throw a label on you, but if I just perusing social media, you seem like if there was a leader of the Justin Fields clubhouse, it may be DJ. Is that your guy? I heard you say all the nice things, politically correct. Yeah, Zach Wilson's great. Trevor Lawrence is great. This guy's great. But it seems like Justin Fields may be a hint above that. Give me the Justin Fields take.
So I love Justin Fields. Just from a physical standpoint, I think that he has a higher upside than Wilson, but I feel like Wilson has a great upside too. I just think like Fields is just a tick higher because like he's bigger, stronger, more athletic. Granted, I will say this though, Fields plays the position. I mean, not Fields. Wilson plays the position at this point better than Fields does right now. He processes just a little bit better, and he anticipates a little bit better, and he's a bit more accurate on certain throws. And when it comes to throwing off platform, playmaking in that aspect, when the play breaks down, he's playmaking to throw. Fields is playmaking to run. So obviously, if you're playmaking to run, like that works here and there, but you prefer a quarterback that when the play breaks down, he's breaking down to throw down the field versus breaking down to run. So I think right now, Wilson, I understand why the Wilson talk. It's Wilson more than Fields, but I just right now I prefer Fields just off of traits. I feel like more of his traits because most of Wilson's traits translate also, but I feel like just the physical traits that Fields has translates a little bit better, which will allow him to have a higher upside. So if somebody can tap into that and allow him to reach his ceiling, you can have a Josh Allen or a Justin Herbert type ordeal ordeal. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, last year people were questioning why didn't Justin Herbert see it as well as he did, or why him reading the field wasn't as great, things like that. That's why people went with Tua over him. But then this past year, Herbert blows Tua out of the water. So it's just things like that. And Josh Allen, people had a lot of questions. Fields is a better prospect coming out, but once the Bills finally developed him the way they needed to, now look at it. Josh Allen is arguably the best quarterback in his class. It's between him and Lamar Jackson, with Baker Mayfield right behind. So yeah.
And somehow that apparently is like a dumb take or an unpopular take is the better way to put it, is that you can like more than one quarterback. It's supposed to be no, you're a Zach Wilson guy, or you're a Justin Fields guy, or you're a Trey Lance guy. Your take just there saying they're all great and that this could happen. They're like, oh, you can't have that take. That doesn't make any sense. But
and to piggyback off of what you're saying, and to piggyback what you're saying, most of these situations, you can like multiple quarterbacks, right? And on top of it, most of the time, it comes down to the situation, right? Like if Mahomes goes to Jacksonville when he comes out, is he Patrick Mahomes that we see today? Probably not. If Sam Darnold goes to the Browns and they build it around him the way they build it around Baker, is Sam Darnold a better position? Probably. You know what I'm saying? If Lamar goes to the Jets and he's with Adam Gase, does it work out the way it worked out for him? Probably not. So most of the time, it just comes down to the situation. Because if you're going to be a first-round quarterback, going to be a top 10 quarterback, the talent's there. Like, it is what it is. The talent is there. It's rare where you're going to have a Daniel Jones situation where, like, he comes out of nowhere. It's like, he's not that talented, to be honest. Or Mitchell Trubisky situation where, like, you're overdrafting people. Or EJ Manuel, you know what I'm saying? When you're overdrafting somebody. You know what I'm saying? If you're getting drafted in the top 10, most likely you have talent. So it's about how it's built around you. And I feel like with the Mike LaFleur system, Mike LaFleur system, I feel like Wilson or Justin Fields will flourish in that system. And you see how they're building it. You bring in Corey Davis. They're probably going to draft a running back. They're going to have a better offensive scheme. So yeah, whoever they draft, I think they're going to succeed either way.
You brought up Sam Darnold. Speaking of points of contention in goddamn Jets Twitter, Sam Darnold is one of them, and all this man love openly for Zach Wilson is #awkward. And I can only imagine. I guess let's start there. Sam Darnold, when's the trade timeline here? Because again, checking the clock here, it's a mock draft Monday here on March 29th. A month from today is the NFL draft. The Jets hold the second overall pick. Everyone thinks they're going Zach Wilson. Sam Darnold's, again, and I got to give credit to Adam Schefter for the tweet. the Jets will be like the first team in like 60 years to pick 2 quarterbacks in the top 3 in like a 3-year span or whatever it is.
Right,
That's
right,
kind of
right.
not the kind of history you probably want to throw on the team media guide,
True,
as
true,
Rich
true.
Cimini said. So when do you trade Sam Darnold? When's the right time then? Because I don't think there's any way that you could have some sort of circus to keep Sam Darnold and number 2 pick. That seems like that's a disaster.
So right now, it looks like the market's kind of dried up for Sam. But to be honest, they can just trade him on draft night. That's what the Cardinals did with Josh Rosen. They kept him, and then on draft day they traded him for a 2nd-round pick. When they got Kyler Murray, everybody knew they was getting Kyler Murray. So eventually, if they go with Zach Wilson, because there could be some alternate universe where they keep Sam Darnold. But again, they could just trade him on draft night. To be honest, somebody will take him. It's not exact. Sam Darnold doesn't have talent. He has talent. He just couldn't put it all together, and he had a bad situation around him. But it's just going to come down to who the Jets just end up settling with on, taking them. And I also do think they probably overplayed their hand. They're probably trying to get a 1st-round pick. You're not getting a 1st-round pick for a guy that had 9 touchdowns passing. You're just not. So they probably overplayed their hand. And, you might not get a 2nd-round pick for that. Because Carson Wentz went for a 2nd. And, granted, he was terrible last year too, but at least he has 2017 and 2019 on his resume. Sam Darnold doesn't have anything close to that. So I think they overplayed their hand a little bit, but they'll be able to, move him. So, yeah.
All right. Again, we're speaking with DJ here, who covers all things New York Jets for the New York Daily News, a new member of the beat, and plans to be here for a long time. So New York Jets fans, make sure you get to know him. You can also follow him on Twitter. And, so let me ask you. So with Sam Darnold, he's going to be moved at some point, it seems. But you said that there is an alternate universe. If people just put their hands up to their eyes and close their eyes and hear, almost like you pick up the conch on the beach and put it up, you can hear the ocean. You can hear those Jet fans crying, apparently, about Sam Darnold in this alternate universe. If you had to put a percentage on it, what would you say the chances are that alternate universe is actually reality and the Jets go, screw this, trade back, and you know what? We're just going to get a haul, get Kyle Pitts, some crazy wide receiver, and say, let's build this thing, and we'll chase another year with Sam Darnold. What would you put the chance of that happening?
So before Friday, I probably would have put it like around 10. But once the Niners traded up to number 3, right? If they really, wanted to get like a Zach Wilson, because Zach Wilson would have been great with Kyle Shanahan, I can tell you that much. They could have went up to number 2. But clearly, they know something that most of the, that a lot of people have been also hearing, So maybe they knew that Zach Wilson probably wasn't an option. They're probably comfortable with Fields or Lance or even Mac Jones. So now I'll probably put out because, never say never. So I'll probably put out 0.5.
You brought up Mac Jones. Is that I heard Chris Sims and a couple other people say, the 49ers just moved up, and all of us assume me. I went, Trey Lance is a San Francisco 49er. Okay. Or Justin Fields is a 49er. It could be a 50-50 toss-up. And then I hear Chris Sims go, Mac Jones. I'm like, Mac Jones? Right. Alabama? Mac Jones? So apparently, right. Do you put it – I guess you never say never has been a theme of some of this. Do you think it could be Mac Jones at 3?
So obviously never say never. And Chris Sims is pretty tight end.
Sure.
So, we can never discredit that. However, if you want Mac Jones would have been there at 12.
That's what we say to the Giants.
He would have been there,
right? Take Josh Allen and trade up. They have the other 1st-round pick from the OBJ trade. Trade up. You want DJ? Oh, okay. That's crazy, but okay. Grab him there. Mac Jones, grab him there if this happens.
Yeah, right. So, it could happen. I will say this: if they did pick Mac Jones, he would do fine in with the Niners, but at that point, just stick with Jimmy G. At that point,
yeah.
Because that's about thing.
I don't know Mac Jones here, but he has the mobility of a parked car. Is that even a thing? Let me ask you, DJ, your perspective. Again, that athlete's perspective here. It seems like right now in the NFL, it's sexy. It's a dual threat guys. A guy that could do a little bit of everything. Right. Those aging dinosaurs of Brady, Breeze, and all these old guys. The only time they're wheeling is when they're in a wheelchair. They ain't doing it on their feet. So, you look at some of the guys now, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, all these guys can do both. Mac Jones can't go from here to there. He's Phillip Rivers basically. So like,
right.
I guess my question is, can those kind of guys still survive the pure pocket passers in today's NFL?
Of course, because you just got to build it. You just got to build the whole line around them, and make sure you keep them protected. I mean, Baker isn't too athletic, but he was able to still have a lot of success this past year.
Sure.
By them having Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, along with a really really good offensive line. So yeah, I mean, Baker's more athletic than Mac Jones, but Baker, I wouldn't classify him as athletic. Those quarterbacks would just have to be. I was talking to Greg Cosell the other day, the NFL Films, and I just asked him a little bit about Tua. And he was just, saying that he's not overly athletic, so he has to be more of a rhythm passer. So that's what more mobile quarterbacks have to be, is just more being rhythm passers, being more on script, things like that, and being able to win before the snap from the mental aspect. So, I mean, I think if you can do that, then you can still succeed. It's just, a little bit harder, obviously, but people do prefer guys that can, go off script and make plays out of the pocket. So that's one thing Mac Jones really didn't do much of. So, but I mean, he's not a terrible athlete. He ran 4.8 at his pro day, which is probably like a 4.9. So he's not unathletic. I mean, he's not a terrible athlete.
See, I just feel like again when we're qualifying this, and then your boys ask you about your girlfriend, you're like, she's not terrible. I mean, she cooks, she cleans a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you want to say Mac Jones is terrible. That's fine. You can say Mac Jones is terrible, man.
No, I can't say he's terrible though. I can't. I mean, athletically, I mean, he's not. He leaves to something to be desired, but I mean, his last year, at Bama, he did really well. I mean, yeah, he probably had like, there was a great team around him. But
so what do you think about that? Let me ask you. So the talent around him, right? That's what a lot of people say. So okay, you say this, the stats look good, this looks good, this looks good. Devonta Smith,
right.
Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs
Right.
pretty good. Jalen Waddle, okay. Najee Harris, yeah, not bad. All the talent around him. Does that qualify for you at all when you're thinking Mac Jones is a prospect going like, yeah, sure, he did it, but who wouldn't? DJ, you would have stepped in there, of course, as a former athlete. You would have been Mac Jones. Like, come on, man. I mean, how does that factor in?
So the way I factor that in, I guess I understand why people say that, but I don't really pay too much attention to that anymore. Like, because again, you gotta just evaluate the traits that they have and evaluate can that translate over. Because I mean, now with the landscape of the NCAA, especially with the college football playoffs, most of the best quarterbacks are going to the best teams now, right? Because kids want to play in that and in the playoff and compete for national championships. So they're gonna go, so they're gonna go there. So of course they're gonna be on teams with the most talent. But if you want to use that against them, then you got to use that against Trevor Lawrence. I mean, because you use it against Trevor Lawrence. You have to use that against Zach Wilson because the schedule they played, every game that they played, they had more talent than the other team.
Right, cupcakes.
Exactly. That's not even debatable. But that's why you got to just look at the traits and the abilities that they have that you see on film and see how that can translate over. My biggest knock on Mac Jones is the lack of velocity on his arm. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have like an enormous, like a lot of arm talent in my opinion.
From what I've seen there.
Yeah. So the talent thing, I mean, it is what it is though. Like I'm not gonna knock a kid for choosing to go to a team like one of the best teams. If you're one of the best athletes in the country coming out of high school, I can't knock you for going to one of the best teams in college. Like you're used to being on the best teams, so why not? Sure. Why knock a kid for going to a team that has some of the best players? I get it. That's part of the evaluation, whatever. But again, then you apply that to Trevor Lawrence. He's on Clemson. There isn't a team that can even spit on Clemson in the ACC. So they have a cupcake schedule when you compare talent-wise. I've been watching ACC for a while. There isn't a team in the ACC outside of maybe UNC that can even like breathe on Clemson from a talent perspective. Not Miami, not Florida State. And you would think those two teams, since they're in the pool of Florida of just elite talent, they can't even breathe on them. I saw what Clemson did to Miami when Miami went up there, and I think it was a week 3 or something like that. And it looked like two different teams. Like it looked like a D1 team versus a division. I mean, not Division 1, D1 AA team. So apply that to Trevor Lawrence, but you're not going to apply that to Trevor Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to apply that you shouldn't apply that to Justin Fields either. You got to evaluate. I mean, Trey Lance. I mean, North Dakota State is a powerhouse at the FCS level, not applying it there. So we pick and choose who we want to apply that with. We usually apply it to people that aren't overly talented. So we want to nitpick them and things like that. So that's how I look at it. Just look at the traits, look at the ability that they have. And I mean, granted, yeah, he's throwing into some dudes are wide open, but it's not like any quarterback can execute that offense to the way that it was being executed. So
Sure. All right, DJ. I know you just got this new job. Well, I've got a new job offer. You're the Jets general manager. It's mock draft time. Slap on the hat. These are your picks, and you can rationalize them however you want. So we're going to put you on the clock, and we're going to give you the first two picks for the New York Jets, second overall, 23rd overall. And again, if you feel froggy enough, even jump on 34th overall. This is a mock draft Monday, so I want to hear your mock. We can kind of go through your thought process here, who you think you want to pick. We start with the second overall pick. It seems like everyone's screaming quarterback. Is that where you're going, DJ?
Yeah. Quarterback, DJ Bien-Aime as the New York Jets general manager. I'm going with Justin Fields out of Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. And so it's a beautiful way. DJ, you are your own best agent here. You also have a great article that's out right here. Right now, people can check it out on the New York Daily News. Also, check it out on your social. Justin Fields versus Zach Wilson. Some of that insight from some of the experts in this league. Give us a little taste.
Yeah, so on that, I spoke to NFL scout. I talked to Bucky Brooks of the NFL Network, former NFL scout, and I talked to Greg Cosell just to get their perspective. Obviously, the way I look at it, I know nothing, so I want to continue to learn. So the way I look at it is, just continue to pick the brain of people that have been studying this forever. This is their livelihood. It just became my livelihood literally last week. It's been my livelihood as a fan, but now it's a little bit different. So just continue to learn the X's and O's, and just pick their brains and see the pluses and minuses from both prospects. So that's what that article is about.
All right, Chaboom, quarterback solved. DJ, congratulations. A great first pick. We got a quarterback, thank God. Justin Fields, phenomenal. 23rd overall. Are you helping a brother out? Are we jumping over to defense? Where are we going? It's a lot harder, obviously, to predict what's happening at 23 because, one, Trevor Lawrence, okay, we got the rest of the pool. 23, a little bit harder to predict. What's your thought process here?
So, after going through the film and looking through some of the weaknesses of the Jets, what I would do at 23, because I love the cornerback class, but I don't think Horn from South Carolina is going to be there. I don't think Patrick Surtain is going to be there. No. And I don't think the Virginia Tech cornerback is going to be there. But who I'm hoping is going to be there, Greg Newsome.
Ooh, yes.
Newsome. I like him a lot. I like his ability. I like his ability to be able to play off. I like his ability because he never ever panics when he's in his break. Sometimes, when someone runs that 10-yard out, he can kind of struggle to get out of it. Or let me not say struggle. He doesn't get out of it as quickly as you would like. He doesn't struggle to get out of it. Let me not say that. He doesn't get out of it as quickly as you would like, but he still gets there. But he has long speed. I think he ran like a 4.4 or 4.3 at his pro day. So he has long speed, so that won't be an issue. And I feel like he really fit into the Jets scheme that they're going to run because I know he plays off a lot. And when I was watching some of Northwestern's tape, when they're in cover 3, he does really well in that. And the Jets, the Niners last year, according to PFF, they ran cover 3 32% of the time. Mm-hmm. They ran quarters 24% of the time, which is most in the NFL. They ran cover 1 about 24% of the time. They rarely ever run cover 2. But yeah, and they ran cover 6, less than 10% of the time. But so, that would be a really, really good fit in my opinion. I would if he's there, because he might not be there, because his film is really good. He might not get snatched up before then. But if he's there, that would be, in my opinion, that's what I'll go with. But then if he's not there, just throwing an extra pick, the left guard / tackle out of USC.
Elijah Vera Tucker. Oh, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So someone was telling me his they were kind of they liked him, but they were kind of put off by his Oregon tape. And I watched the Oregon tape, and I understand where they're a little put off by that. But if that's his worst game, then he could be a really good pro. If that's his worst game, because he still held his own. He gave up a sack. To the defensive end, number 5. I forgot his name, but he gave a sack to him. But I do like some of his ability. I like some of his ability. So, and for the second round pick.
Okay, 34th overall. Let's do it. What do we got?
Hopefully, Travis Etienne is there.
Oh, baby.
You get Travis Etienne, if he's there, that's a home run hitter. He's really good at, with some of the zone runs, because they ran a lot of zone run schemes. Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator with Clemson, so they ran a lot of that. So there's going to be a lot of that with the 49ers. So if you can get him into the Jets, that will only help the offense because they're going to run the ball a lot, and they love to run play action. Last year, they were 12th in the NFL in off play action. And guess who ate off play action? Corey Davis. Second, he was 4th in the NFL in yards off of play action. And I think 57% of his yards came off of play action, which was second most in the NFL in yards off play action. He was 4th behind people like Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, and I think Stephon Diggs. I have to double check that one, but I know it's Calvin Ridley and Tyreek Hill. I have to double check the Stephon Diggs one. I may be off on that one, but yeah, nonetheless, that's what he does. That's what he does really well.
Wow, phenomenal. So let's just recap here what you just did on a mock draft Monday. So Jet fans, okay, you just got your quarterback. Hallelujah. Then at 23, we just got a corner, and thank God the Jets have done absolutely nothing at corner. So Greg Newsome, welcome to the starting lineup, kid. Here's the jersey. Let's get going because the Jets have done absolutely nothing at that position. Love it. If he's not there again, Elijah Vera-Tucker, love that on the offensive line. Again, another position they really didn't do anything at. And then 34, Travis Etienne. A quick follow-up on your Travis Etienne. Is there any, do you prefer him to Najee Harris? Those seem to be the 1A, 1B argument in this draft. I know there's some, if you look close enough in the ACC, there's some Javonte Williams fans out there too.
I like Javonte Williams too.
So
I like Javonte Williams too. I think he ran for like 230 on my Hurricanes. That was just crazy. So between Najee Harris and Etienne, I guess. So I'll just say, you can't go wrong with either one of them.
I don't think so either. I think that's the perfect answer. Yeah.
Right. I think it's going to be like last year where you couldn't go wrong with J.K. Dobbins or Allaire or Taylor,
and DeAndre Swift too is up there.
And DeAndre Swift, you couldn't go wrong with those guys. With running backs, they're a dime a dozen. So as long as you don't take a running back with a number 2 overall pick.
Yeah.
Take them, number 2 overall pick like the New York Giants did in 2018.
Right, yeah, that worked out.
That worked out perfectly. Just not a stuck with Daniel Jones, but that's not here nor there.
Right.
But that's So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So with Tucker, right? With Vita Tucker.
Yeah.
So how much does him being on the left side? Because I think for the Jets on the left side of the line, it's pretty solid, right? You have Becton and you have Lewis.
Yeah.
By accident. The accident the other day, I guess I didn't catch it or my editors didn't catch it. I was writing about the offensive line and I put Alex Smith instead of Alex Lewis.
Oh,
really on me. Mistakes happen. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But so they're solid on the left side. So would you be comfortable with putting a left tackle / left guard on the right side of the line?
That's a great question. I've talked to a lot of former offensive linemen that really say that there is intricacies to the game from footwork to hand placement to everything where it's like if we're right-handed, I don't know if you're left or right-handed, but you're right-handed throwing a football, all of a sudden just throw it left. Okay. Yeah, I'll just throw it left. Yeah, no big deal. And it looks like, I'm throwing a quacking duck down the field. So I feel like there's a little bit of the mirror game of learning from the left side to the right side. So again, I don't think it's as easy as you said. You're a Madden junkie, right? So I'm Madden. When I draft the best offensive line, best offensive line. Right. Any questions? Oh no. Oh great. Thanks. So there's a little bit of that there for me. Alex Lewis, again, I think you could save a little bit more money if you moved on from him as opposed to Greg Van Roten on the other side. But Greg Van Roten, he was god-awful last year. Alex Lewis wasn't great, but I would not be opposed to grabbing Vera-Tucker. It seems like the Jets, for whatever reason, maybe DJ, they seem in love with Connor McGovern at center. They're like, we're good. We don't want Corey Linsley, who's a free agent. We're like, he's fine. I'm like, fine.
See, I don't blame them for that. I'm not paying a center like 15. I'm not paying a center that much money. I'm sorry. I'm just not paying a center.
Sure. Okay.
I'm good. So
that makes sense. Yeah, I just thought that maybe again, if you pay the center a lot of money, which I get why you don't want to do that, you kill two birds with one stone. You know, Connor McGovern has already played guard before. You fix two holes with one payment, as opposed to
Right.
if you would have thrown the house at Joe Thuney or whoever it would have been. But regardless, it seems like the Jets are opposed to doing that. So I would imagine they're going to go guard as opposed to center in this draft based on Connor McGovern's contract and how it works. So to answer your question, no, I would have no problems with it. I think Elijah Vera Tucker can very much learn that other side, but really, again, who's the long-term game here? Is it Alex Lewis or Vera Tucker? Vera Tucker's like, I'm more
Right.
comfortable on the left side, and they're like, Alex Lewis, see ya, hit the bricks, pal, you're out of here. So I think they would be more than willing to be able to get some wiggle there. But I hope Vera Tucker's on the board. I'm hearing from all kinds of scouts. I was texting the other day. They're like, yeah, fat chance, pal. When I said, oh, I can't wait for him at 23, they said, don't hold your breath, kid. So they don't
Really?
think
Okay.
Vera Tucker's going to be there at 23. But as you said, the theme of this conversation is never say never. So I really hope so because, again, I feel like they've pigeonholed themselves. It's interior offensive line or corner. I don't feel like they have a lot of other options there. And whether
Yeah,
it's
agreed. Agreed. Now you make some great points. You make some great points.
So let me ask you, before we get you out of here, and appreciate the time here, DJ, on a Mock Draft Monday, you are a Madden junkie. Give us all I hear in the report when a little bio, if anyone goes to New York Daily News and says, oh, who's this DJ guy? They read about it. It says Madden junkie in there. So it made the cutting room floor there. So let me ask you, Madden junkie, how big of a Madden junkie are you?
I've been playing Madden since 2000. Like I've been playing Madden on like I've been playing Madden. I remember actually playing Madden on like the computer. Like I remember, playing Madden. I remember vividly. Like I think either I was playing with like the Jets or the Patriots, and like I had beat either one of them on the game, and like I called my cousin. I was like, "Boy, I just beat. I forgot which team it was, but I just beat blank." Blank. I think like 37-34, something like that. And he was like, "Oh, that's cool." Blah blah blah. I think it was like 6 at the time or something like that.
Yeah,
But
wow.
yeah, man, I've been into Madden for a while. Like I've been a Madden. I play in Madden leagues. I play online. Like when the game first came out, and I just graduated. I was still unemployed because of COVID and stuff. So I used to play all day, like just
there you go.
playing like nonstop, like that. That's what I like to do for free time and stuff like that. I haven't played as much. Like I didn't play that much last week. But yeah, I mean, I'm in some Madden leagues. If people want to play me, that's that. I do. So what I'm thinking about doing like later on, I don't know when, but like I know like dudes on the Jets probably like playing Madden, probably like trying to set up a Twitch and like just playing some Jets players and things like that.
That'd
But
be cool.
that stuff further down the line, So we'll see. But yeah, man, I love Madden. I like Madden more than 2K, I'll tell you that much. But that's kind of like football more than basketball.
For sure. I'm both. I'm a bigger Madden guy than I'm a 2K guy, but 2K has been doing me wrong the last couple of years with these trash games they've been putting out. I'm going to be honest.
Right. I understand, man. Yeah, man. I just, I love Madden overall. I mean, can they make some changes on on the game or whatnot? Yeah, sure, but I'm here for a good time. I'll let the critic. I'm going to just play the game and enjoy the game and do what I like to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, DJ, it's been great getting to know you, and I speak for all the New York Jet fans who are watching and listening in here on a Mock Draft Monday to learn a little bit more about you. That Twitch with future Jet players in the future, a little sneak peek for the future sounds great. And also, we're looking forward to all your great articles for the New York Daily News. Congrats on the gig. A belated congrats on the gig, man. And thanks for taking the time. We hope this isn't the last time you hop on here.
It won't be. I appreciate you having me on. Paul.
All right. Thanks, man.
No problem.